Chicos, welcome back to World of Tanks with the Captain. I am a little bit sniffly today, but I decided that I was in good enough health to start doing videos again. So I was driving around on my E75, and I'm going to make a couple E75 replays here for you. Well, I've got a couple for you. This is a game I had on Mines. This is not really my favorite map. I don't particularly like it. And if you don't take a heavy tank to here, then you usually take it to here. You can drag one down to the one line, but it's not going to be quite as effective. Basically, what's going to happen here is I'm going to end up running into most of their heavy tanks. You've got M46 Patton to my right, and end up plugging him for a whopping 485 damage, which is always good. And I could see that there was a little bit of that guy sticking out, but then he backed up. So I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with the E75. I like the tank, but I don't like the gun too much. Like, the pen's fine, the damage is fine, but this thing will fling shots in the middle of nowhere. It's just, like, you can fully aim your shots and it'll still screw them up. Got a nice 400. Oh, someone's shooting HE. I'm not sure why he had HE loaded, but he did. Guess that's the new strat in Mines. Load HE. Because he only did about 100 damage to me on that shot. So, see this guy's backing up. And looks like he's going to try and pull a side scrape on me. So he's going to back up a little bit. And it's not going to work. And he didn't even bother shooting. He probably should have shot at me. I don't know if he had much of my lower plate to shoot at, but... And we've got a Yag Tiger. He looks like he wants to go for it here. And yes, I'm scumming it up. I'm shooting prem rounds because, honestly, everyone shoots them at me. There isn't a tank in the game that doesn't just switch its loadout when an E75 rolls around the corner to prem round. So I don't really feel bad for ever using them with this tank. A bit of a low roll there, but about a 13-second reload on the E75 once you get it fully all tripped out. Did manage to take a shot at some point there, not really paying too much attention to my health. There is something on the hill. But a nice heavy shot, 512 damage into that guy. Side of his turret. And I know that there is an IS back there, and he's peppering me with something. He's not doing a lot of damage to me. But managed to take out that M103. Now it's time to roll in, take out the other M103, and then come around the rest of their team. Things are still fairly even at this point, but I drove like a bit of a tard right here. Don't ever do what I just did. Let's drive sidelong through a house, and then crash into a house. I thought I was going to be able to get back shots or side shots on something over there, but I couldn't. So then I got myself in a really bad spot. And I was getting shot at by everyone, everywhere. And that FCM was shooting me. Then the tank that was behind me shooting me, he died. So I went from having a lot of health to no health. And that happens a lot at tier 9. If you're not careful. And I wasn't careful. I was a bit carefree there, driving around. Because I thought I was going to get better shots at those guys than I did. And the only guy left over on this flank happens to be an AMX M445, but there is something on the island. So I'm going to fully aim my shot, and wow, I actually hit him. Normally those shots just completely miss. I had a game where I shot at a T29 about 4 or 5 times at 400 meters, and this tank managed to miss every single fully aimed shot. So I do not recommend that you use this tank as a sniping tank. Get up close, angle it pretty heavily, and you will have a better time of things. And I did think better of driving out, going around that corner, because I knew that guy was over there. I didn't particularly feel like dying. My engine was dead. I wasn't going to be able to maneuver very well. So, just back it up. Gonna wait for some of the cavalry to come around. because I managed to get myself murdered because I was stupid. So I'm pretty sure that there was a guy in these bushes to the left or the right, because I was getting spotted, but I didn't know where from where. Or it might have been from over here, him spotting me when I backed up to there. So I just decided to take it easy. And someone took 20 damage. Someone's shooting HE over there as well. So I'm rolling around. Hopefully this guy's not going to pay much attention to me. I'm going to fully aim my shot. But is he going to get high enough that I can hit him? Yep. So I put one more shot into him. And now I'm going to trundle along extremely slowly because my engine's destroyed towards this AMX M445. And I've already done like well over 4,000 damage. So I'm hoping this guy will back up. And thank you. Do another 500 clean. And we'll finish out the game doing, I think it was around 4,300, 4,500. So a decent game in the E75. Not crucially amazing. Like it's not like 8,000 or 9,000 damage, which would be pretty sweet. But for the most part, the E75 held up pretty good, except for when I did this stupidity here. Giving a complete side-on flank shots was pretty dumb, and I will be the first one to admit that. But sometimes you get that way in the E75. You get a little bit carefree, and it can bite you in the ass because the tank's not invulnerable. You do still have to drive it properly, angle it like this, and people have a lot of problems penning you because it has a lot of side armor. It's able to side scrape better than almost every tank that I know of in the game. Maybe the VKB can side scrape a little bit better, but this thing is a side scrape king. It's really, really good at doing it. We'll see in the next game what this tank looks like when you're facing a team that is better than your team and your team flunks out completely. So you can see the E75 in a losing situation. And I almost lost myself in this game, but see the next game what happens. Alright, so we're on Lakeville in E75, and anyone who's driven the Tiger 2 will realize once they've driven the E75, when it's fully leaded out, this thing's a heck of a lot faster than the Tiger 2. It's also faster than the Lion. It's faster than the 45A. It is actually not a slow tank. You can see I'm actually outpacing the T-34, and the IS-8 is probably quicker than me. So, we've got one of the best players on the enemy team in his Super Pershing. Perched himself up on this hill, and this is one of the shots that the E75 usually never makes. But it managed to go in, and I did 500 damage to their player. And life is not fun when you're sick. I've been sniffling and felt disgusting and sleeping a lot for the past 5 days, so excuse me if I'm sniffing. I'm not meaning to. And it's bad when we don't have a tank here. It's always good to have a tank that's stopping them from coming down the middle, but it didn't seem like we had that in this game. And then we've got 3 tanks camping here. We actually had an M103 that sat in base and didn't move for the entire game, so he was a bot. But he did move at the end of the game, which was pretty frustrating. So maybe he wasn't a bot, but it was just really, really annoying that he decided to sit there and do nothing the entire game, because we really, really could have used him in town. So we've got a 110 here. I'm going to plug him for 450 damage. E75's armor is so strong when it comes to fighting these kind of tanks, the tier 8 medium or tier 8 heavy tanks. And I had a good shot at him, but my own guys are going to pull in front of me over and over again here, and I accidentally shoot my own guy. It's just got too congested, too many people pulling out. And it happens again, and it happens again. So I was trying to be fairly careful with my health because I'd taken one shot already. And you never know what's kind of hiding in the back half the time. Like, there's usually something pretty nasty back there. So got a Tiger 2 to my front, so I put one through the front of the wall, and it penetrates the Tiger 2. And our T-34, not the sharpest knife in the block, he's taking some damage here. And the Tiger 2 is backing up. Managed to do a hefty amount to that T-29. And it's this point where I can see that we're not exactly winning to my left. So I decided to just wing it and push around. Hopefully I can kill the T-29. I can. And unfortunately for me, a full health E75 rolls around the corner, and I was trying to ram the T-44, but instead I got a ram on E75. And I was hoping that the T-34 would be rolling around, aiming and trying to help me by shooting the E75, but he ended up taking him out. But everyone was dead to my left at this point, and I was about to run out of friends pretty fast. So I got a shot into that E75, and I knew that shit was going to be coming around on me. And I wanted to get out of the way of this E75, because everyone else in my team was dead now at this point. And yeah, it was just going to go downhill from here. I just decided I'm going to get all these guys to my front. And that's why you load perm rounds in E75, because I should have made that shot if I had perm rounds loaded. And at this point, I decided not to reload or do anything anymore. I was dead, and I was ammo racked. You can see my turret fly off. See, it's on the ground right there, blown to pieces. So I probably would have penned that E75's lower plate if I was loading prem rounds. And I don't know, I would have done extra 500 damage. I only did 3,700 damage in this game, but the rest of my team, most of the other tier 9s did 1,500 or less. So it was pretty bad. I don't know if there's too much more that I could have done. I maybe could have pushed about 20 seconds quicker, but I did get caught up fighting a lot of their tier 8 heavy tanks and the T-29. Spent a little bit too much time killing them maybe. I should have pushed a little bit harder. But at the same time, we had a lot of our heavy tanks still invested back here, M103 camping there, and we did end up losing this game pretty harshly. So at the end of the day, the E75 is strong, but it's not able to take on a T-54 and 2 E75s and a Tiger 2. Alternatively, I suppose I could have backed up out of here, came down, and helped them directly, but that would have left the T-29 and the T-44 and the Tiger 2 to come around behind us. So I think this was a losing battle, probably no matter what. But most of the time, my E75 doesn't end up like this. I've been able to keep a pretty good win rate in at about 56%, because it took a little bit to unlock all the crap on it. And it's a bit of a learning curve playing tier 9s a lot more. It's nice being tier 9 when you're in a tier 10 battle, because you're more or less gun-wise on par with them, even if your armor doesn't quite stack up to some of the tier 10 offerings. But it's taken me a little bit to get used to playing at this tier a lot more, which is what I've been doing recently. So yeah, E75 is strong, but you need tanks like the T-29 back there backing you up a little bit more. You need tanks like the M103, not camping base, doing 0 damage until basically the end of the game when he got rushed by their entire team. So I'll do one more replay, and you can see what that tank is, because it's going to be mystery battle. Alright, so Mystery Battle is in my brand new Su100. I am rolling around with the Su-85's gun, the 85mm, because I can't stand the 100, or I'm not even going to bother unlocking the 122. I really don't enjoy a tank destroyer I've found that isn't accurate and can't hit things at range, which is what was happening to me when I was using those other tanks. I really... Blind shot, dead. Always nice to kill artillery. I'm finding I really can't drive derpy tank destroyers, so I'm not even going to go down remotely near that other line of tanks on the tank destroyer line for the Soviets. I like the Su-100, but it's not a tank I'm going to keep because it's basically my Su-85 with slightly better rate of fire with the guns that I'm using on it. I find it's fast. You occasionally bounce stuff off your gun mount and stuff, but it's basically the same tank with a lot more hit points. And I like it, but I would probably do just as good in my Su-85 as I do in this because I'm using the same gun. A lot of other people they swear by the 122, and it's not my playstyle. I don't like getting close to people in tank destroyers. I like to be far away, and I can't do that with the 122. I don't like sniping with a gun that has like .43 or .46 horrid accuracy. So this game was going pretty good at one point, but then it went into the shitter pretty fast. Our KV2 was like, I know, I won't drive in the forest, I'll drive in the open. And you can see him getting whittled away by the fast-firing E25s on the enemy team. And I didn't really know where they were. I guess they were somewhere in here or over here. And I was hoping they would move so I'd see them. But I'm going to be firing really poorly here. Well, not too poorly. I mean, I hit the Wolverine, but one of their E25s is going to come barreling through here. And I don't know how he wasn't seen before he was directly inside of our cap, but I didn't have that great of shots into here, so I started moving to see if I could get a little bit closer. And by the time I turned around, he'd already killed our guy, and that shot missed. And then I was trying to pre-aim him again when he was invisible, and the shot just went flying in the middle of nowhere. So things went from good to bad pretty fast, and our AT-7, which I was hoping was going to be able to stay alive, he's going to try and come down off the hill, and it's going to be the end of him fairly quickly as well. And it looks like he spots their artillery, so I start aiming in on him.
Critical hit.
And yeah, critical hit. And just as he was going forward and going back and stuff, he stopped, and yeah, I missed. But our artillery ended up killing him. Our artillery and myself were the only reasons we were even close in this game. I ended up missing a lot of shots that I wish I would have hit that might have helped me win the game. Like if I would have hit either of those two shots at that E25, it would have been a much better game for me. I could see that there was only 2 artilleries left in my team. So I started moving up into the forest here to see if I could find those other 2 tank destroyers. I didn't know what sort of health they were at. I knew one of them was pretty high. And I figured the best place for me to be would be back where my tank destroyers were at this point. So I started driving up to here. I wanted to get to that rock, and then I could see that they were already over there. And by the time I get back, they're pretty much going to be toast. And their team, their E25s cleaned up for, what was it, 9 of my team. So I'm going to get back at some point here. The Su-100 is a pretty quick tank. Like, it is pretty much a T-34 underneath. You can see from the back, it looks very T-34. It's got the fuel tanks, and the main thing that distinguishes it visually from the Su-85 is it's got this cupola on the left side. The cupola. I always say that wrong. People get mad. But now I'm screwed. At least the artillery was thanking me for my channel. There wasn't too much more I was going to do in this game, because I knew that there was 2 E25s. One of them was down here. I didn't know where. I just wanted to go in there and try and get him. One thing I have found is when this tank's driving around, the aiming reticle isn't very big on the move. You can actually stop and get zeroed in pretty quick. And because I use this gun, my aim time is only 2.3. So I can aim pretty quick, and yeah, I was chatting to them a bit here. But it wasn't, like, the very next game after this, my computer ended up going right into the toilet, and the power of Windows made my computer completely lock up, and I was having USB beeper problems where it was connecting and disconnecting my shit and pausing, and I had to shut it down and unplug everything to get it back to normal. So I'm just trying to not die here, as well as spot them, and stroke of luck, get the E25 in the open, so I put one into him. Now I just got to see where the remaining E25 is, and I was assuming they were going to be marauding around pretty close proximity to each other, so I killed him, and I decided to start falling back into the next stuff of next bushel of trees here. So I put one into him on the move, and I just want to back up because I don't want him to get my side, which is what he was trying to do. And managed to miss that shot. He hurts himself hitting me, and I just want him to be hitting my gun mantlet at this point. And I'm taking damage. He shoots faster than me, but my rate of fire is also quite good, and unfortunately he ended up ramming me, and I didn't have enough health left to survive, and ended up getting 5 kills out of it and 12 or 1300 damage. I've been able to regularly do between 1200 and 2500 damage, even with the Su-85's gun in Tier 8 games, simply because the gun is accurate and I can hit with the weak spots and I can hit what I'm shooting at. I was pretty sad that I lost this. I wanted to be able to win, because it would have been amazing killing 2 E25s at the end by myself, but ended up getting 5 kills out of it. The game ended up being a draw, but it was a pretty fun game at the end, being able to not die, considering he had more hit points than me, he shoots faster than me, his DPM is way better, and I was still able to pull a draw out of it. But for the most part, I'm liking the Su100, even if it is a up hit point version of the Su-85, the way I'm choosing to play it. The next tank down the line for me will be the Su-100M1, or one of those, the alternative line of Soviet tanks. I'm about halfway there already, and I will probably sell this tank and dump the crew in that tank, and that is pretty much the plan going forward. So look forward to that tank. I'll be doing a review of this tank. I've had some really great games in it, but if I'm going to play this tank with this gun, I am just going to do that with my Su-85, which is a tank I've decided I'm going to keep for when I play Tier 5. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm sorry I couldn't win the last 2 games. I ended up getting a win, lose, and a draw. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm rolling out again in War Thunder in my favorite tank, my Panther 3M, and I'm in a battle with a Stuggy Stug who's cruising around at the back of the map. I am up here. We've got some airplanes up here because I'm in a realistic battle, and we got some T-34s shooting at us from over here, and I'm going to be shooting at this guy at some point, I think. Where is he? Pretty sure this is the guy I ended up shooting. Here it comes.
Your artillery is ready. Roger that. Fire.
That was my shot I just put into him. And then he was taken out by the tank to my left because there was a Panzer IV straight to my front. So I put a shot to the side of him, and then he got taken out. And this wasn't a very long battle. This is very quick. This is what kind of brawling is like in War Thunder. Once you get to Tier 3 and the high end of Tier 2 is when this game really gets fun. So I drive up to the top of this hill here, And I'm like, dun, dun, dun. Oh god, there's 2 tanks, and I'm just going to drive right down behind them. So I put 1 shot into that guy, come down. And, yeah, shot went into, or my barrel went into the wall. Gonna drop an artillery strike. Put 1 shot into the side. And that was it for him. So a T-34E, that's a premium T-34. And down and to my left, there's a KV-1 who's shooting at me, and he's not able to see enough of me from where he's at. So he's not going to actually see me drive down and to the left here and flank around him. I'm not sure how he missed me going down here, but he just totally did. So I'm going to come back down, come all around. He's still not turning his barrel around. And I'm going to get totally up and behind him. And I'm going to be able to shoot him in the rear. So that's 1 shot in. And that's another shot. You can say goodbye to a whole bunch of modules on that one because it busted his engine, his radiator, and a bunch of stuff. And that one went into his turret and injured some of his crew members. And I am in realistic, so I don't like shooting at the name tags as much, so I will just roll out in the open so I can get a clearer shot at what I'm doing. And that shot there set him on fire. No, the next one sets him on fire. Think. Or maybe it was the next one. But I'm taking damage. He's blowing off my side skirts. Alright, there we go. That one set him on fire. He's got some nice plumage coming out the back. It's burning. It's burning. Burning. 1 shot of the move, and then he just plain blows up. And then down and to my right, there is a T-34. So I put a shot into him, and I'm going to drop artillery on that sucker too. He's not paying attention to me yet, but he will be now because I shot him in the back again. Put that one into his engine, set him on fire, so now he's burning. Poor little guy. Give him another shot. I think that one is in his ammo rack. And I got a little bit damaged there. So I didn't want to sit up here and take 2 more shots from him. So I put 1 more shot into him, and then I'm going to circle around him. And there's a dick thing you can do where you drive into him and you flip him around, and because the physics are really bad. I won't do that. I'm going to beat someone fair and square. I'm not going to try and flip him on the roof like a douchebag. So that one sets him on fire again. And now I'm just going to aim into the side of his turret, and good night. And that was it. There was no more tanks to shoot at. We ended up killing everything at that point in the game. And took him out. You can see from the aerial view, a lot of my teammates were down and to the left, and he's going to drop some bombage. So I'm driving across here. What are you guys doing? Uh-oh. 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 So 2 tanks in our team are getting over into the cap. I'm heading over into the cap. And we'd won. Ended up getting 3 kills, more or less on my own. And I assisted on 1 of the kills. So it was a pretty fun game. Pretty short. Thanks for watching.